Hello, my name is Ed Mishrell. I am the author of a recent book entitled The Five Truths for Transformational Leaders. Following is a video of a presentation I did recently about the book. The goal of the presentation is to, one, explain each of the five truths and give examples of what it looks like, and two, to give the audience an opportunity to try on the ideas, internalize them, and incorporate them into their role as a leader in your organization. You will see examples of each of these in the video. A presentation to your organization will be customized to reflect the goals and challenges currently facing your organizations. Thank you for your interest. I look forward to talking to you about an opportunity to speak to your group.
The goal of the book and the way that it turned out is not necessarily a list of skills that you need or knowledge so much. It's about what you do. So it's more about that. And my goal this morning is to share the information with you, have you understand and apply the five truths for transformational leaders to your growth and thinking as a leader. So this is truth number one, is be fanatical about the mission. Now, the word fanatical could kind of conjure up a lot of things. Some of them not so good, right? You think of somebody who's a fanatic, they're a little bit off, right? They're kind of out there a little bit. And that's kind of the description that what I heard, how people described the leaders that were transformational, that they lived the mission all the time. They were never afraid to talk about it. They always talked about it. It was focused on everything. So why does a fanatic belief in a mission matter is the question. Like, what difference does it make? Why am I starting with that? Well, here's what I heard. First thing is passion is contagious, right? That passion is contagious. That when you're excited about something and you start to talk to other people about it, they want to be part of that. Focus on the mission demands excellence is the second thing. So if I just go around and say, this isn't good enough, we can do better here. People might say, well, boy, Ed's really nitpicky about this stuff, right? He's like always walking around pointing out these things. But if I go around and say, like, our kids deserve excellence. Our kids need us to be the best that we can be. We have to set a standard that's way up here. Good is not good enough. We got to seek here. And you never really get there, but you start to instill that in your staff and in your board that this is how we do business. Here's what I'd like you to do is take a minute, and I'm going to tell you right now, this is going to be harder than you think when I say it. Take a minute and write down 3 words or short phrases that capture your fanatic belief in a mission. Share what your words are and why those represent your belief and aspirations around your mission. Okay? Go. Did you notice how much the energy in the room went up as soon as I said to start talking about your mission? So that when I say passion is contagious, just talking about it sort of elevates the degree of energy. People talk a lot about getting alignment in organizations and getting everybody on the same page. So getting everybody on the same page begins with mission, that people feel as strongly about it as you do. I'm going to move to the second truth and fix, stabilize, or replace systems, practices, policies, or people that are not working. I thought about putting in parentheses, oh my, it sounds like the Wizard of Oz, right? That fanatic belief in mission is a must, but it's not enough by itself. All right, but if you don't have that, the rest of it is not going to matter much. It's hard to go forward and become really a great organization if the organization isn't running efficiently and effectively. Because what happens is you end up spending your whole day solving problems. All right, you end up and you not just have to build these systems and practices and policies, but people have to actually implement them, and that can be just as hard as creating them. But one of the things that all the leaders said is I really couldn't move on and build the organization and get stronger until I got these fixed. All right. What needs attention in your organization? Policies, practices, systems, or people? Pick one that you want to shore up and one step you take next week. But this here is, I think, where a lot of people get it wrong. Strategy is not the consequence of planning. All right, it's the opposite. It's the starting point. You can't develop a plan if you don't really know what you're trying to do and how you're going to accomplish it. So it's very important part. It's very important to make that distinction, because so many people have a strategic plan, but they really don't have a strategy. And the strategy is really how you're going to achieve your mission. All right, does that make sense to everyone? All right, so is that different than how you've thought about it in the past?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so I want to talk about this in three parts. So the first one is your mission strategy. Second is your organizational capability. So you have to figure out how you're going to achieve your mission. We'll spend some time talking about that. Then you got to build an organization that can do that. Staff have to be able to execute on it. The organization has to run smoothly. You have to have resources. So you had to build an organization that actually is targeting and able to deliver that strategy. And then you're going to need resources. So Collins in his Good to Great for the social sector talked about the resource engine. So what's going to drive the resources in your organization? What is your mission strategy? All right, so I'm going to give you the same thing, some silent time to make some notes. Who do you serve? How are you thinking about who includes how you're thinking about serving more? What outcomes do you deliver? All right, so what are your outcomes? And how do you make a difference? What's your service delivery model? What actually our staff and your facility is going to do that's going to make kids successful? So I'll give you a couple of minutes to make some notes, and then we're going to give you a chance to share it with somebody. This is the most important conversation that you have every single day, hundreds and hundreds of times, and you got to keep getting better at it. All right, everybody ready? Yeah. All right, you got 2 minutes to share your mission strategy. If you are the coach, now is your chance to give feedback, and here's the way to think about it. If you like the person that you're spend time with, give them some feedback that's going to make them stronger. If you really didn't like them, tell them they did great. All right, go. The fourth truth, execute strategy to drive results. Strategy is useless unless it can be executed. So, does that make sense to you? Do you agree with that? Strategy is useless unless it can be executed? And which is harder, developing the strategy or actually executing it? Executing it, yeah. So, in some sense, the things that I'm talking about get harder as we've gone along. This is the hardest thing. So relentlessly communicate the strategy over and over again. Relentlessly communicate. So what does it mean to relentlessly do something?
Never give up.
You never give up, right? All right. How many times do you need to communicate something in an organization before it begins to be internalized? All right. How many people think 4 or less? How many people think 8? A few. How many people think 11? 14 and 17. Most of you, oh, good. Yeah. Actually, the research that this is based on found that it was 14. So you win a prize. No, you said 14. What does it take to communicate? Why might you not communicate something 14 times to every single person that's engaged with your organization? Say it again.
You just think you've done it, so they should know it.
Yeah, I know it, right? You've got it. It's clear in your mind. So is it clear in everybody else's mind? Well, after I said it, you should know it. So everyone I talked to told me that they needed to continue to grow as a leader, and it was the hardest thing they ever did. And so that's pretty much what I heard from people. I was more comfortable when I could touch everything. The changes I had to make were painful. Painful, that's like, it hurts even to say the word, right? I believed I needed to see everything, to touch every decision. I needed to have my arms around the entire organization. And when they started, that was necessary. But as they grew, it became impossible. And so the growing to the next level was going to require a different way they focused on their leadership. As we grew, I needed to switch from being reactive to being proactive. The biggest change was getting comfortable with not knowing about everything. Mm-hmm. Getting comfortable with not knowing about everything. And in order to be comfortable with that, what do you need to get to? My goal when I started to write the book was not to produce a book about that told all the skill sets, but to say, here's the things that leaders actually did that made the difference, that grew their organization. I appreciated the opportunity today to share that with you. It's kind of cool to finally get out and share the information. These are the first 2 times I've done that, was yesterday and today. So thank you. I hope you got something out of that.